What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and the recent Lord of the Rings leaks have me extremely excited for the future of LEGO Lord of the Rings. And thinking about Lord of the Rings LEGO makes me think immediately about what might be some of the best minifigures LEGO has ever produced. LEGO did such a great job capturing all of the fine details of the minifigures, and they really went all out on their prints and designs. However, there are still some minifigures that we are missing from the series, and in this video I wanted to highlight what minifigures are missing from the beloved franchise. A few ground rules for this list before we get started. We are only going to be focusing on characters that appeared in the original Lord of the Rings movie trilogy, so characters from the new Rings of Power show or the books will not be considered for this list. Yes, I know, sadly that means Tom Bombadil is not eligible for this list. Lastly, I will only be focusing on characters that we've never received in LEGO form, so I won't be covering variants or characters in different outfits. For example, I'd love to see an updated Witch King of Angmar minifigure in his Battle for Middle-earth armor, but the Hobbit sets actually gave us a Witch King minifigure, so he wouldn't be eligible for this list either. That all being said, here are the top 10 missing LEGO Lord of the Rings minifigures. Starting this list out in 10th place, I actually have a tie and a little bit of a bonus 11th figure. And that is a tie between the Easterlings and the Haradrim. Both of these groups of people represent some of the different armies of Sauron outside of his main force of orcs, and all of the reason to include one were true for the other, so I'm going to do them both in the same spot. The Easterlings make their first appearance in the two towers at the Black Gate and have some of the more lavish looking armor in Middle-earth. They also make a quick appearance in Minas Tirith after the front gate is smashed in. The Haradrim,
who are they?
Wicked men, servants of Sauron,
also make their first appearance in the two towers and later play a more prominent role in the Return of the King at the Battle for Pelennor Field. The Haradrim are also known as the Southerners or Swartings and are an army of elephant-riding soldiers that do Sauron's evil bidding. Both of these represent major armies of Sauron's that play a prominent role in the movie outside of his traditional orcs that we see so much of. LEGO did give us an Umbar pirate, which didn't have nearly as large of an impact on screen as these two groups of soldiers. At number 9, I have another group of missed soldiers and missed opportunities, and that is the Lothlorien elves. Sure, we got an amazing Haldir figure that makes me want this group of soldiers even more. These elves played a huge role in one of the most epic movie battle sequences of all time, and in my mind it was a miss that we didn't get a single one of them in the two Helm's Deep sets that we've already gotten. Fun fact though, in the book, the army of elves was actually already occupied with orcs in Moria and Dol Guldur, and they didn't even make an appearance at the Battle of Helm's Deep. That was actually a change Peter Jackson made, which turned out to be a good one in my mind. So good, in fact, that I wish you could build it in LEGO, and I wish you could have an army of Lothlorien elves, but we would need a minifigure to do that first. At number 8, we have a similar story, but this time it's with the soldiers of Gondor, and I still can't believe that the only nod to Gondor that we have in LEGO form is Aragorn in his Gondorian armor. After all, this army is one of the coolest and probably my favorite army from the franchise. Their shiny silver armor stands out, and I can only imagine what an army of these soldiers would look like on display. They play a role in the two towers at Osgiliath and almost the entire third movie when they're focusing on Gondor. This really represents a miss to not have any Minas Tirith LEGO sets, and the Gondorian soldiers are certainly missed in LEGO form. Next at 7, we're starting to get a little bit more specialized, and I have the Citadel guards from Gondor. If you think the Gondorian soldiers' armor is great, the Citadel armor takes it to the next level. These are the coolest looking soldiers in the entire series, and they play a prominent role protecting the White Tree of Gondor. And I want these soldiers in minifigure form simply because they look so cool. To me, these are similar to the clone commanders and captains that have become so popular with LEGO Star Wars fans, and a kind of a Lord of the Rings version of that in my mind. They'd be really cool and a really collectible minifigure for all. At number 6, we have another man of Gondor, and that is Denethor, the Steward of Gondor himself. In my perfect world, I imagine he would come in the same set as that Citadel guard. However, the reason I have him a little bit higher than those Citadel guards is because he's just a single character, whereas the other ones were foot soldiers or soldiers in the franchise. I think the single character gets a little bit of a higher nod here. And again, so far with this list, Denethor represents an absence of Return of the King sets in LEGO. And if LEGO were to make a Minas Tirith set, I feel like Denethor would be a must for it. The 5th missing minifigure is Elendil, who didn't play a huge role in the movie aside from making an appearance in the prologue of the series. However, that prologue is probably one of the best openings in film history, and it definitely deserves a LEGO set. And in that set, Elendil would definitely be one of those minifigures that was included. After all, it was his sword that cut off the ring from Sauron's hand, resulting in his ultimate demise. Elendil is just one of those characters that would make for a great one-off minifigure, since within the world of Middle-earth, he is a legend, and even his presence wasn't significantly felt on the screen like some of the other main characters. You still know who he is. In 4th place, I have a character that I'm kind of surprised that we didn't already get in LEGO form, and that is Eowyn. Rohan got a lot of love in the original LEGO Lord of the Rings wave, including a generic Rohan soldier, Éomer, and King Theoden, but the one member I think is really missing here is Eowyn. I think Eowyn would make a great minifigure too, especially since she just plays such a large role in the 2nd and 3rd movies, including the pivotal scene where she actually kills the Witch King herself. It almost is a shame that we haven't already seen her included in any of these original sets, and I hope that we get to see her someday. The 3rd character is one of my favorite characters from the entire series, and that's Faramir. He's one of the only characters that was actually able to withstand the power and the corruptness of the ring. Like Eowyn, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get a Faramir figure already. However, looking at the sets that we got, I don't know where he would have fit in. Perhaps he could have been included in the Shelob Slayer set, since he was with Frodo and Sam right before they journeyed to Shelob. I'm not really sure. Either way though, we definitely need a Faramir in LEGO form. The 2nd character might be a little too high, or maybe a little bit of a surprise for some people, but at number 2 I have Isildur himself. I mean, after all, his decision to keep the ring gave us the Lord of the Rings and the battle for Middle-earth in the first place. If only he had destroyed that ring, none of this would have happened, but he didn't, and instead we have this amazing franchise. In all seriousness though, like his father, Isildur is just a pivotal character in the story, and even though he wasn't on screen a lot, he deserves to be made in LEGO form as part of this entire collection, since he plays such an important role in kicking it all off. Finally, the number 1 minifigure that's missing from LEGO Lord of the Rings is Sauron himself. I was so surprised that we got the Mouth of Sauron in the Black Gate set, especially since that was from the extended editions. Now don't get me wrong, I think it's a great minifigure and he's one of my favorite of all time. However, it just reminds me that we don't have a Sauron minifigure, you know, the big bad of the entire series. I know that his only physical appearance was in the prologue, but they could still make a minifigure for him. In fact, I think if they could make a prologue set with Elendil and Isildur and then Sauron, that would be awesome. We did get a prologue version of Elrond with the LEGO Lord of the Rings video game pre-order, so I don't see why they wouldn't be willing to explore the prologue at all. And no, I'm not counting the Necromancer from the Hobbit series as Sauron. Not having a Sauron minifigure though would be the equivalent of not having an Emperor Palpatine minifigure, and he needs to be added to the Lord of the Rings LEGO collection. Well, there are my top 10 missing Lord of the Rings minifigures. Which character from Lord of the Rings would you like to see the most in minifigure form? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more LEGO content. And if you're looking for even more LEGO content, join the Plain Old Grinch Discord, link in the description of this video. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.